Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, as you can see, I got a setup, quote unquote, ready to record some basic videos, but it is still a bit janky since the motherboard is literally sitting on its own cardboard box. And every time I want to launch my PC, I have to find a screwdriver and then short the power pin to even start up my PC. So there was quite a bit of stuff that I really wanted to do in this video, like show you guys some footage, unlike usual where I would just like share my screenshot of a ship and then just talk through it. You know, I really wanted to make some change this time around, but sadly I'm not in the condition nor the time, to be honest, to do that this time around. But next time it will 100% improve. So let's hope we can fix that next time around. So this time, we all know that we're going to talk about this. Should you pull the W or Weedy banner? Or should I say, how far you should go into this banner until you're satisfied? Or let's say if you don't get someone, should you be sad or worried about it? Okay, because we all know we've all been waiting for this banner. Like let's not joke about it. Let's not like pretend no one knows about this banner. Everyone knows about this banner. We've all been waiting for this, and like it's finally here, right? And obviously, like you guys would be like, well, duh. Obviously, we know we want to pull this banner, and yes, obviously the answer is sure. You should pull this banner, but to what degree? Who you want? Who you can live without, right? And who you absolutely want for the sake of like future content, like future CC, or maybe like the soon coming roguelike mode that will be coming in. That's I think it's like 2 events away if things go by plan. And I want to talk about them this time around in this video. So let's begin. Like I said, right? You want to pull this banner, but who you absolutely want from this banner, and why, and who you can live without, and why, and so on. I want to talk about them this time around. And I also want to give like some minor examples. Like I want to talk about like, oh, exactly this event, and then like in this situation you want to use it in this strategy. I won't talk about that. That's too much of a spoiler, but you can expect like a general sense, like let's say against what type of enemy you would use what type of skill, or in what kind of strategy you would use what type of skill. I want to talk about those, so expect like really minor spoiler, but it's not going to be too bad. I hope you can take that. So let's talk about W first. So W is an AoE sniper, right? Unlike many other AoE snipers, she has crowd control. And what does that mean is that her skills are just so special that makes her, to be honest, out of all the 3 limited operators that CN has right now, I would say W is the most commonly used. I wouldn't say she's the best. Like, obviously, it's Arknights. You can't say, oh, who's just the best. It's always situational. But I would say W is the most commonly seen to be put into, like, let's say, clear videos and clear strategies, because she's, I would say, more versatile in that sense. All right, let's look at her talent first. Oh, by the way, I don't have her in CN, so this is like mainly a lot of studying and like a lot of, you know, talking with the CN players. But yes, this is my summary. So first of all, 10 seconds after deployment, gain evasion, less likely to be targeted. These are fine, sure, it's fine to have. Now, second talent. Stun enemies within attack range has plus 18 physical damage taken. This is fine. Okay, this is fine. Not the most important thing. Her stats is pretty similar to what you would see on other AoE snipers. Extremely high attack power, but a pretty long attack delay. And insanely huge range is pretty much what everyone expected. So this is fine as well. Her skill is what makes her differentiate from, let's say, Nian, or the other one that is the third limited operator, Rosmontis, that will be coming into the game. This is what makes her special, not skill 1, like not yet. So her skill 1 is immediately fire a grenade, dealing damage, stun the target. So it's a 3-second stun. If you don't have, let's say, W or Phantom, and if you don't have Project Red and Phantom, like if you really need the stun, sure. 16 SP cost and SP recharges 1 per second, so every 16 seconds. I would, to be honest, I just go with Phantom or Red if I if I'm really desperate for the stun. Like we all can understand that, right? So we can ignore this one. Skill 2 is really interesting. So her next attack after the skill being charged, which is 8 seconds at M3, her next attack will put a mine on a melee like slot. So only slots that where you can place down an operator on. And it buries a mine that gets triggered when the enemy runs onto the tile, dealing damage and stun for 2.2 seconds. The best part about this is that once you have a huge path where the enemy has to pass through, and then they all walk through the same path, 2.2 seconds stun, 2.2 seconds stun, 2.2 seconds stun. And as all the enemies rushes through, right? Let's say you got a long break before a huge crowd of enemy rushes through, you will have a lot of stun and a lot of AoE physical damage. Don't forget, 280%. That is with, like, if you include the trust, okay? You will have 2.8k AoE physical damage. This skill is really good as long as you have the time to plan them, to put down the mines. And don't forget, these mines will take up physical unit slots. So let's say, as an example, you were like, I wanted to put down Silver Ash, but too bad there was already a mine placed on that block, so you can't put a Silver Ash down there anymore. GG. Things like that can happen, so you have to be aware of that. But in other instances, this skill can be really interesting, and I would say this is the one I would see the most common to be for people to be using. As in past example, because in CN we had her in CN when the Switzerland event was out, so I think I can talk about that. You remember how there was like the capture the device thing, right? You can usually put down W and her mines will capture the devices, and as enemies runs towards you, they will also get destroyed. That makes this skill just that good. Maybe you guys will remember the 2 hidden stages in like the first part of the Switzerland event. There was like 2 hidden stages on the right. The second one, I've seen so many people use W, and the TW8, I've seen many people use W. Just the fact that you can put down a ton of mine and just let enemies come through, very good. And these mines, did I mention these mines can take up those towers? The sad thing is that that event is now gone, so we don't get to experience that. This is one of the biggest problem I had with Eurostar changing up the event rotation. Really didn't enjoy that, but we got through it, so that's that. Skill 3 is actually very powerful. So skill 3 at M3 at least plants 4 bombs on 4 targets with the highest HP within her attack range. The bomb will explode after a short delay, dealing like 310% physical damage to all nearby enemies. So if you think about it, that is at maximum at least 1240% physical damage. That is like what, 12k physical damage to like a huge crouch of enemies, a huge crowd of enemies. Yes, a huge crowd of enemies, and stunning all of them for 5 seconds. And as you can see, it is an instantaneous skill, so it's more of like a burst damage and a burst stun. And you might think, but why can't I just use Silver Ash? It's a bit different. Alright? This is a bit different. And I would say that in terms of like pure burst damage, I would say this is a really useful kind. Because obviously there's the stun for 5 seconds, very OP. The damage is incredibly high. But then again, how many instances do you need like these huge like pack clearing ability and you can't put down Silver Ash, or Silver Ash is already down? There's like probably 1 to 2 situations in the future that you might want it, but like that is if you really want to challenge yourself and you can't use like some kind of operators, or like you can't take some sort of damage, like things like that. So I wouldn't say like this skill is a need, like a must have, but I would say it's a pretty good skill. I think at this point you see where I'm going. W is good. Is she the most important? Probably not. All her skill sets are very situational. Yes, if the situation is correct, she can be really good. Let's say in Pirate CC Season 1, I've seen many clears using her as well, but you see, those events are already behind us. We've already done them. And now they're finally bringing W out, which is, I would say, a bit too late. Now, the next 6-star operator, Weedy. Weedy is the ace, okay? This is like the ace in poker. You have any problem that is like any kind of challenge that comes towards you, you put down Weedy. Now, let me explain. First of all, Weedy is a 6-star push. That's all we need. I'm joking. That's not all we need. But okay, she's very special. Okay, she's the most important push operator that you will ever get. Now, her talent is also very simple. She can summon a water cannon that lasts for 20 seconds at E2, and the cannon will push enemy. Reminder, this cannon can be placed anywhere on the field as long as Weedy is on the field. Okay? Good. Now, the second talent is increase the force of the water cannon's normal attack and skill by 1 level, blah, 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 blah. And if the water cannon is deployed adjacent to Weedy, recover 1 SP to Weedy every 3 seconds. Fine, whatever. Not the most important thing except for the push. The push force is very important, and we will see why very soon. Now, obviously, she's a normal push, so 1.2 second attack interval and like short range, whatever. We're used to this stuff. Now, her skill 1. A normal push with 1.2 second stun. That's it. That's literally it, right? Really simple, really simplistic. Sometimes you can use it, but most of the time you're fine with just like F-Eater. Not a big deal. Skill 2. Increase attack interval by 220%, increase attack by 200%, attack range increased by 2 tiles, and her attack becomes splash damage, so think of AoE push, true AoE push, and infinite duration. But the long 70-second SP regen time makes this skill less commonly used. What would make this skill really good is, let's say an enemy has a really long attack animation. As an example, you remember how in this time around, is it DM or DW? DM. You got these casters that hits 2 targets at the same time, right? Those guys has an attack interval that is so long that Weedy's push can actually cancel their attack straight out. So what you can technically do is put Weedy on the path that they're going through, and then just let them all free. And then as they approach Weedy, she can push them and cancel their attack, and hence keep them all away until they die. Eventually, dead to her attack. but the 70 SP cost, and like there's actually a lot more requirement to that. Like let's say you know how her talent gives her attack speed, you can't have that or she's a bit too fast. Also, you want Angelina's talent to buff her, but Angelina's talent also cannot be buffed by her potential. So like it's really complicated. There's a lot of math going on, but trust me, CN Players has done the math, and this is what you can do with it. Now, skill 3. Immediately fire a shot dealing 300% splash damage and push the targets away with strong force. Now, additionally, for 8 seconds, the targets receive true damage proportional to the distance moved. If the water cannon is adjacent to Weedy, so top, down, left, or to right of her, it will fire the same shot. And since the cannon has +1 force, it will be a stronger force than just huge force. And the both skill combined will let the enemy travel even further, which hence increase the true damage over time for all the enemies that is pushed. Don't forget, this is AoE as well. So this is where the talent comes in and the water cannon comes in. Again, we have to talk about Pyrite because it's over, so we can talk about it. But Risk 27 of the original Pyrite literally uses this skill, and you can gather up all the Wraith together and just push them with this skill 3 once, and you can clear the entire pack out, like straight up. So what this skill is good with is like a huge pack of enemies that are light enough that you can push for a huge force, like push far away enough to deal like all the OP damage, like the 8 seconds true damage over time. Or things like actually that's the only one. Actually, you can actually combine this with Angelina's skill 3 to decrease the enemy weight by 1 to make them push even further, but I would say that's not the most important part. Like, the skill itself is already very strong, and in future CC, a little bit of a spoiler, in CC Season 2, you would probably use this skill. This is the skill used for the highest risk cleared. So yes, obviously this skill is very important. Weedy is very important. So, out of the 2 6 stars, which is the more important 6 star? Personally, it's Weedy. 100% is Weedy. Unless you really want the limited operator, get Weedy. If you get Weedy and you don't get W, don't be disappointed because you already got what you need. Now, the last one, the last new operator added in, Elysium. How should I put Elysium? He is not as OP, like he's not like obviously as OP as Weedy. Weedy is just like whenever you see any situation that you like the dev want to put at you, like any sort of like threat, you just put Weedy down, problem solved, pretty much. Elysium, on the other hand, is more like a support role, you know, like Myrtle. So, as you can see, he's got a flag on him as well, right? So, obviously he's just like the Myrtle style, but he is also very special. To be honest, only if we had Elysium in CC Season 1, the sniper strategy would have been a lot more easier for everyone. His talent, when deployed, deployment cost of all sniper operatives, -2. Additionally, when a skill is activated, all sniper operators gain 20 attack speed. So if you put that with Exia, you get like a freaking minigun, pretty much, right? Now let's look at his skill. Skill 1, think of Myrtle, but generate a bit more faster DP. So if you have both Elysium and Myrtle, and then you put on, let's say, you know, Bagpipe, yeah, you got a freaking nuclear generator at the start of the game, pretty much. So skill 1 is already, like, obviously very good. Skill 2, though, is so OP. Okay, so for 15 seconds, he will generate 20 cost, 20 DP. While skill is active, locked onto enemies that is in this square, 4 enemies, and they will have minus 60 movement speed, a AoE, like, well, 4 targets slow, and they will have minus 35% defense and loses stealth. So this is the second operator that can remove stealth from enemies. Minus 35% defense, which means extra deals damage way easier, and minus 60% movement speed makes them all very slow, and your extra will have a bunch more time to deal with them. And combined with the attack speed up the top in his talent, you can see why literally he is your sniper buff, right? This is your sniper buffer. Only if we had him, right? Pyrite, sniper strategy, 27, easy. Would have been an easy clear. Now, from now on, I will go into a bit of a spoiler, so if you guys don't mind that, you can listen to me. But I don't know if you guys have seen my Chinese account, but literally my typical strategy right now is Bagpipe, Myrtle, and Elysium. That's the 3 vanguards I bring. Because once you deploy Myrtle and Elysium and you start generating that DP, you can put down Blaze, you can put down Thorns. By the way, Thorns is most likely the next Cummings operator, and he's very OP as well. And you just put them down and like, you're set. You are set. You do not need your Siege, you do not need your Texas, because at that point, you will have so much DP that literally you don't need other vanguards at that point. Or most of the time. Not always, but most of the time, you won't even need another vanguard. Bagpipe, Elysium, and Myrtle. That's all I bring in CN now, and I bring like tons of other OP operators that requires a lot more DP. But with these, with Elysium and, I mean skill 1 Elysium, but skill 1 Elysium and skill 1 Myrtle, I generate so much DP, I do not have to care about the DP like efficiency, should I say, of any operator. I can just put down whoever I want, and I can form my structure, like my defense, really easily and really quickly and effectively with these. W, like I said, you probably shouldn't be focusing on her as much. Maybe just because I didn't get her in CN and I'm being salty. But to be honest, I live without her just fine. And you always have a friend, like a whale friend, that has her anyway. But Weedy, I would recommend to get one for your own benefit. She is so OP in the sense that in CC Season 3, they literally tried to nerf her. Like, they increased all DP of all specialists by 3 times, which makes her pretty much, like, I don't know, 63 DP at, like, P1. But people still used her just for her skill 2. Like, even if the developers tried to nerf specialist, and she still made the clear so easy. Like, the highest risk done in CN is actually risk 33. And the reason for that is that there is no, like, 7 operator only team. You can always bring, like, 10 operator tag. The highest operator limit tag is 10 operators. But someone, like some crazy mad lad, I think it's Project Arknights, they did a 7 operator strategy with Weedy. So technically, if they had the 7 operator tag, it would have been a risk 34 clear. So Hypergriff literally owns them 1 risk. That is how OP she is. That is literally how OP she is. And CC Season 2, yes, she will be in the highest risk strategy as well. So yeah, I don't know what to say. Or just get her. Just get her. Like, there's no other point in discussing how W is limited, blah 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 blah. Just in terms of pure, like, how robust and how commonly used and just how stupidly strong they are. Get Weedy, get Elysium. If you don't get W, forget about her. Just like me in CN. I did 200 pulls and didn't get her, and I didn't get her. Yeah, that happens. So yeah, that's literally the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you can, because I feel like I've been taking a lot of damage for the Princess Connect video about talking about the 3-month advantage is so much BS, and like people literally dislike the video so much. So I would really appreciate some like to, you know, give me some sanity back. And I will be doing a stream as W Banner is live, so if you guys want to watch that, you can join me actually on YouTube. I have a stream planned for then. You can actually go and find it right now in my channel. So I'll see you guys then. I'll see you guys in either the stream or the next video. See ya.